Welcome to another episode of Better Said Than Written, the podcast supplement of the multimedia blog Arts of Cultures, where I make a personal connection with today's trending topics. I'm your host, Tamika Cody. Now, these days, my social circle of friends, they're trying to wrap their heads around turning 40. Now, the topic started to surface in January of 2016 when a viral video sensation, the Holderness family, created a YouTube music video explaining what it's like for them to be the Big 4-0. Now, Penn Holderness and his wife, Kim, poked fun at their 40-year-old selves and created a parody to Justin Bieber's hit song, Sorry. Take a listen.
Well, it's too late now because I'm 40. Yeah, I can't do that dance with my body. It's just too late now because I'm 40. And I wish that I could just break it down, but it's too late because I'm 40 now.
Now, the Holderness' version of turning 40 is pretty spot on, but in this episode, I like to focus on women in their 40s. Now, the late Andy Rooney, who's best known for his segment in 60 Minutes, which aired on CBS, candidly explained why he valued women over 40. My top 3 favorites from Mr. Rooney are, number 1, a woman over 40 will never wake you in the middle of the night to ask, what are you thinking? She doesn't care what you think. And you know what? He's right, because my spidey senses will tell me what my partner's thinking at any given time. The second one, if a woman over 40 doesn't want to watch the game, she doesn't sit around whining about it. She does something she wants to do, and it's usually something more interesting. Okay, he's got a point there. Now, my partner, who is German, loves soccer. Well, I mean, European football. And I usually settle into one of the other rooms to watch the Food Network. Then I head to the store to find the secret ingredients so that I can replicate one of those meals from Chopped. Number 3. A woman over 40 knows herself well enough to be assured in who she is, what she wants, and from whom. Few women past the age of 40 give a hoot what you might think about her or what she's doing. And to be honest, let me tell you, I only learned about this since I turned 40. Now, Mr. Rooney shared a total of 9 valuable characteristics of women over 40, which you can Google, or you could just go to my Tumblr page, Me, Myself, and My 40s. Mr. Rooney concluded his piece with the following. We praise women over 40 for a multitude of reasons. Unfortunately, it's not reciprocal. For every stunning, smart, well-coiffed, hot woman over 40, there's a bald, paunchy relic in yellow pants making a fool of himself with some 22-year-old waitress. Yeah, he's right about that. And then he continues, for all those men who say, why buy the cow when you could get the milk for free? Here's an update for you. Now, 80% of women are against marriage. Why? Because women realize it's not worth buying the entire pig just to get a little sausage. Well said, Mr. Rooney. Well said. All right, so after I shared Mr. Rooney's thoughts on Facebook, one of my real friends, and I say real because, you know, people just add people as friends on Facebook just because, she just turned 40 herself. And she realized that in this age group, it's totally an uncharted territory. Dr. Thompson says, there's a lot about your 20s and what you need to do. Dozens about your 30s and what you should be doing. But 40? It's hard to imagine what that is supposed to be. And now that Dr. Thompson is in her 40s, she says she realized 2 things. Number 1, some women and men don't age. They just get old, meaning they physically get old but don't mature, grow, and age like fine wine. Number 2, when you are single, into your 40s, you have moments of worry like, oh man, did I miss the boat? Now, for single women in their 40s who believes their shot at love is over, Dr. Thompson says you have to work on yourself and push through those feelings. By the time you meet your person, you'll couple up for all the right reasons and not because everybody is doing it. Round of applause are in order for Dr. Thompson. Bravo, my friend. Bravo. Dr. Thompson, Andy Rooney, and the Holderness family inspired me to think about what it's like to be a woman in her 40s. I came up with 26 life lessons, which I shared on my Tumblr page, Me, Myself, and My 40s. And I also did a Twitter campaign with the hashtag Woman in Her 40s. Just take a look. It's under TC's Views. You'll find it. Okay, so here are my top 5 with a brief explanation. Number 1, as a woman in her 40s, I've learned to save fuck you money. So when shit goes down in the job market, I could survive without worrying about money. Now, let me explain. After years of climbing the corporate ladder, I found myself at the bottom at least twice in my journalism career. I've stayed at jobs that I hated because I didn't have the 3 to 6 months of savings set aside. But I wised up and I saved. You see, financial security gave me the courage to put in my resignation without regret or worry. And think of it as being the most polite way of telling your employer to fuck off without saying fuck off. Number 2, as a woman in her 40s, I've learned that I can't get inebriated like I used to. My body just can't take hangovers anymore. Now, my hangovers last at least 3 days and they're horrible. And my children had to break it down to me after I had a girls' night out that lasted until 3 a.m. Saturday morning. Mom, you just can't go to work all day, then be out all night and expect to function the next day. You're not in your 20s anymore. All right, yeah, they were right, and I took their advice. So I have a maybe 2 to 3 limit drink minimum, and then that is it. I wrap it up and I go home and I go to sleep. Number 3. As a woman in her 40s, I've learned to save my tears for my children and their accomplishments. You see, I used to cry from broken hearts. I used to cry about lost friendships. I used to cry about bad bosses. And my lifelong friend, Nicole, she used to tease me back in the day, Tamika, you cry like a fish, meaning, the fish is in the water and you can never tell if they're really crying or not because they're just surrounded by their tears. Anyway, it's an internal joke between me and her. But listen, I don't cry anymore. I don't cry anymore over bad bosses or friendships or anything that really pisses me off because I'm saving those tears for when my children has their most important milestones like college graduation, their wedding day, the birth of their children, their first job out of college and paying off those student loans. Those will be happy tears and I need to save those tears. Number 4, as a woman in her 40s, I've learned not to engage in drama. I just respond with a smile. It doesn't matter how old we get as women. Women are very catty. They're competitive and full of drama. Some like to push buttons to see if they can get a rise out of you, and they try to do it through text messages, emails, and social media. Well, not me. I don't have the energy, time, or patience. Instead, I just send a smiley emoji. As in to say, okay. Number 5, as a woman in her 40s, I've learned to start my day with motivational sermons. My preferred preachers of choice are Joel Osteen and Bishop T.D. Jakes. You see, most of my lessons wouldn't be possible without the life teachings from Joel and T.D. Jakes. I listen to their podcast almost every day. Some of their episodes I've listened to more than a dozen times, and every time I learn something new about how to handle what life throws at me. As a woman in my 40s, I need all the help I can get. So I'm going to leave it right there, and I'm going to turn the mic over to you. Now that you're in your 40s, what's the most valuable life lessons you've learned? To leave your comments for me to play on the next episode of Better Said Than Written, you can give me a call at 646-883-2639. That's 646-883-2639. Or you can email your life lessons to tcsviews@gmail.com. That's tcsviews, VIEWS, @gmail.com. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Better Said Than Written. And to keep up what sparks my interest, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at tcsviews. Until next time, I'm your host, Tamika Cody.
It's just too late now 'cause I'm 40, and I wish that I could just break it down.